In this video, we're gonna break down the Audient Evo 4 and decide, is this the best audio interface for podcasters?
Here we go!
The Audient Evo 4 is an audio interface that can take two XLR microphones and allow you to plug it into a computer. Why is that important? Well, for podcasters, if you're recording in person with somebody, you're gonna need two microphones, you're gonna need something to plug them into to get them into your computer. Now, the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 has been the gold standard for as long as I can remember, for years now. Anytime someone needs to plug in some microphones, we recommend this. But the Evo 4 has some unique features that might actually really benefit podcasters, and it's cheaper. So in this video, we're gonna break down everything the Evo 4 can do a little sound test, and then I'll let you know what I think about it. So first, let's open this box. A little ASMR action. All right, so this quick guide, very helpful. Keep this. Normally you throw these away. You wanna keep this bad boy, the sad boy. So you take off the top, and here's the Evo 4 in this nice plastic bag. This is a full unboxing experience. We don't get many of these. All right, so this is our Evo 4 audio interface. Very simple on the face. The only other thing you're gonna see in the box is this USB-C to USB-A cable, all right? If you have a USB-C port on your computer, you'll need to use a USB-C to USB-C cable, but it comes with USB-A, which is great. So right on the top, you'll notice there's only one knob. This knob controls everything. In a minute, we're gonna plug it into a computer, and you can see it all light up and look pretty. But this knob is the main source of all the controls you wanna do. Essentially, you press the buttons for the things you wanna adjust, whether it's the input controls, doing the smart gain function, which we're gonna talk about, your monitor controls and your volume controls. Everything's controlled with this knob. Really simple, looks really great. So now let's plug it in and put it to work. So now we've got it all plugged up. Let's walk through some of the basic features, things that every audio interface should do, and then one feature that I think is really gonna be helpful for podcasters. First and foremost, you gotta plug in the microphone that you wanna use for your audio interface, for your recording. If it needs phantom power, if you're using a condenser microphone or a gain boosting device like a Cloudlifter, it's really easy. You just press the number of the microphone input that you wanna change, and you turn on phantom power and it turns red. That's it, you're done. You turn it back off, good to go. Over here, if you wanna manually adjust the gain of the microphone, you just press the microphone button that you wanna adjust the knob, and you can manually adjust the gain. Same thing for microphone 2 if we had one plugged in. And then over here, if you had headphones plugged in, there's one headphone out port. So if you want both people to listen to it, you'll need to have a headphone splitter, but that's actually pretty standard for audio interfaces. And all this stuff is explained in this handy dandy guide. It's actually really simple, really easy to understand. One small detail, you will need to download a driver from Audient's website. Works for Windows, works for Macs, so you shouldn't have a problem, but that just allows the interface to talk with the computer. Now this smart gain mode is the thing I'm most interested in. Because typically when you're recording into an audio interface, you have a couple different levers to adjust the gain or the amount of signal, the strength of the signal coming from the microphone. On the Scarlett 2i2, they have these dedicated knobs right here, these gain knobs. What the Evo 4 smart gain function should do is analyze your voice, the strength of the sound coming into the microphone, and then automatically adjust the input level. In a similar way that if you're familiar with the camera world, auto ISO and auto white balance, where they look at the picture and then make some decisions about what's gonna look the best. The Evo 4 should do that with the smart gain mode, and that should make your life a lot easier as a podcaster. So I've also hooked it up to Hindenburg, which has some similar functionality, auto gain levels, and we're gonna put it through the paces because we're gonna hook this up, move my wire out of the way, to an SM7B, which, if you know anything about microphones, this sucker loves power. 60 decibels is typically what you need. And so if you're gonna plug it into a device to record on your computer, you typically need something like a Cloudlifter to get a clean signal. Now the Evo 4 is supposed to have 58 decibels of gain. That means if we max it all the way out, we should get a strong signal from the SM7B. I'm interested to see how much inline hum or hiss that we get, just noise that's typical when you drive a preamp all the way to the end. So what we're gonna do though is we're gonna test the smart gain function on the SM7B and see how much we have to compensate in Hindenburg to get it to a healthy level. So all you have to do to activate smart gain mode is press the giant green button. Then press the button of the mic input that you wanna set the smart gain to. So in this case, input number 1, and then start talking. And then you press the smart gain button again, and now it's magically looking at my voice, trying to hear what's going on, how loud should this microphone be, what should we set the gain to? And as it's thinking about that, you'll see all these lights light up, and it's analyzing the sound. It's analyzing how much power it needs to drive this microphone. It shouldn't take super long. It says the Smart Gain LED will start flashing red and the volume LEDs will illuminate when it's listening. The Smart Gain mode will dial in the correct levels, and when complete, the Smart Gain button will flash green twice to indicate it has been successful. It is still red. So let's try this again, all right? Smart Gain, mic 1, Smart Gain again. Let's analyze this sound and see if we can get the Smart Gain to pick up the SM7B. Now, to the Evo 4's credit, I'm picking probably the worst microphone to do this test with because this really does need a lot of gain. If we were using a Samson Q2u or a pod mic, I wouldn't expect the Evo 4 to have any problems. We're just trying to push it to the limit and see what it can do. All right, we have officially Smart Gained this sucker, and the volume is all the way up, as I expected. So it says that the Smart Gain volume is all the way up. I'm looking over at my meter over in Hindenburg, and it looks like it's in a relatively sweet spot. It's still a little bit quiet, which is what I expected. It's not quite in the yellows, but we're gonna record this and actually see what this sounds like. All right, so now I'm recording from the SM7B through the Evo 4 all the way up to 11. I mean, it's not technically 11, it's 100%. And in Hindenburg, I'm actually seeing some pretty healthy waveforms. So this is actually really good. And you can see when I'm not speaking, there's no noise. The noise floor is exceptionally low on this audio interface, which is actually really, really great. So now what's gonna happen is I'm gonna stop recording and Hindenburg is going to adjust the gain to where it thinks it should be. I'm expecting it to be anywhere between 6 and 8 decibels. All right, so let's see what it ends up being. 6.1. So that's actually really great. So the Evo 4 can drive an SM7B without a gain boosting device like a Cloudlifter, and it looks like we're getting some really healthy waveforms. That's phenomenal. That's absolutely phenomenal. I'm actually really impressed with this. And again, you don't have to do Smart Gain. You can manually adjust it and dial it in. But I think if you're just trying to set up, run and gun, connect 2 microphones, get everything synced up, that's the way to go, because you can actually run that Smart Gain function simultaneously and have all these different devices connected, and it dials everything in for you. So what do I ultimately think of the Audient Evo 4? I'm really impressed, like surprisingly so. I was not expecting to like the Evo 4 as much as I do. Now, I know we went into a bunch of techno mumbo jumbo and might have sounded like Greek to you. Here's the big thing. If you need an audio interface to plug 2 microphones into your computer, this does the job. Doesn't even matter if you're using a gain-hungry microphone like the SM7B. You can plug it straight in, you're gonna get a really clean signal. Now, who should buy this? Any podcaster trying to build a setup for 2 people in the same location. If you already have a Scarlett 2i2, you don't need to go out and buy this. You don't need to go replace this. This is still gonna serve you exceptionally well. But if you're buying one of the 2, this one costs significantly less, like $40 or $50 less than the 2i2. And so if you're building out a new setup, you also gotta get microphones, you wanna get some boom arms, save some money on the interface, and just go with the Evo 4. Now, if you're wondering which microphone we recommend to pair with the Evo 4, we really like the Samson Q2u for a lot of reasons. And so if you wanna see our review of the Samson Q2u and why we think it's such a great choice for podcasters, just check out this video right here. We walk through all the features and explain why we love the Q2u so much for podcasting. We hope you found this video helpful, and until next time, keep podcasting.